If you can get started building your credit as a student, you can take a huge step towards getting financially set up for the rest of your life. And fortunately, there's a ton of really good student credit cards that are going to allow you to do just that. But unfortunately, there are also a lot of bad ones. So in this video, I'm going to break down what you need to look for in a good college student credit card and the 5 best college student credit cards on the market right now. Plus, if you stick around until the end, I'm going to give you a pro tip for boosting your credit score as a college student that I personally used to grow my credit score by over 30 points in a single day as a college student that you can use in tandem with any one of these credit cards. So let's get on into it. So when it comes to student credit cards, the number one most important factor for you to be thinking about is whether the credit card can click the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Once you get past that, then you can dive into all of the other lesser important things about credit cards, like whether they're going to charge you annual fees or how they're going to help you build your credit score. All right, so jumping right in with card number 5 for students, we've got the Tomo credit card. And while this isn't technically a student credit card, it is a great credit card for students and one that really nobody's talking about. With the Tomo credit card, basically, it's really unique because it doesn't check your credit score. So this is why it's so great for students, because if you don't have a credit score, if you have not built credit at all, you don't need one, okay? Basically what they do is they connect to your bank account and they automatically pay the card off every 7 days so that they don't need to trust you, okay? They don't need to trust you because they know you have the money already. And it's kind of like a secured credit card, except you don't have to put up any money. You don't have to give them any money. You just connect securely via Plaid to your bank account, and then they automatically charge you every 7 days based on whatever you've put on the card. So it's really nice, and they don't even run a hard inquiry on your credit report. So there's not going to be any ding or any mark on your credit report for this card, which is super nice. And they're going to report to all 3 credit bureaus, allowing you to build your credit score quickly. Now, your credit limit is going to be determined based on a number of factors, but largely based on how much on average you're keeping in your checking account that you link up to this card. So you can link up multiple bank accounts. It's going to get you a higher credit limit. But if you just link up one credit card, they're going to kind of look at what's your average balance in this account, and they're going to give you a credit limit according to that, which is pretty decent to me. I mean, it's going to be anywhere from $100 to $10,000. And honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. You're a college student, you're probably not spending that much money. And the real kind of benefit here is that it's allowing you to build your credit score while also earning some rewards. So you get 1% cash back on everything that you spend on the card, which is super nice because with all of the cards that I'm going to mention here, you're getting rewards for them. It's not just a credit card that you're just sitting on, getting no rewards and really just building your credit score, but you're building your credit score and getting rewards at the same time, which is what we love to see. That's why I love credit cards so much. Personally, this is one of my favorite credit cards for beginners and college students just because of how low the barrier is to getting this card. I mean, like you pretty much get approved for this card. Like they do reject some people. I'm not exactly sure why, but as long as you have no credit and you have a bank account, like you have a pretty good shot of getting approved for this card. So very low barrier to entry, and you don't technically have to be a college student to get it. But if you are a college student, it's a great option. Coming in at number 4 is the Journey Student Rewards Card from Capital One. Now, for this credit card, you actually don't have to be a student. I know it says student in the name, so you would think you got to be a student. But if you're not technically an enrolled college student, you can still apply for this credit card, which is pretty snazzy. So diving into the card real quick, what are some of the perks? What does it look like? What are we kind of dealing with here? So first off, no annual fee. You're going to see that across the board with all the cards that we are covering today. No annual fees. I do not think that you need an annual fee on a student credit card. I think that is ridiculous. The point of a student credit card is to build your credit, not to charge you a fee. Also with this one, there's not any foreign transaction fees. So with pretty much all beginner credit cards across the board, the ones that you're not paying an annual fee for, they're going to charge you a 3% foreign transaction fee whenever you use your credit card abroad. Now, this is not the case with this credit card. So if you're a student that's thinking about studying abroad, this is the only one on the list that's not going to charge you a foreign transaction fee. So I would probably stop here, use this card if you're planning on studying abroad. But if that's not your primary focus, then I would dig a little bit deeper, go a little bit further down into number 1 and 2, because those are going to give you some more advanced benefits. But back in the benefits of the Journey Student Rewards card. So there's no foreign transaction fees. There is a high interest rate on this credit card, though, the highest of the bunch at 27%. Now, this shouldn't matter a ton because you should be paying your credit card off on time and in full, so you're not paying any interest whatsoever. But in the off chance that you do have to just pay the minimum payment once and then you start accruing interest, it's going to kind of suck with this card because you're going to have a 27% interest rate. Now, in terms of earnings potential, you're getting 1.25% cash back on your spending. That is assuming you are paying off your card on time. If you don't pay it off on time, it's 1%. But if you pay it off on time, you get another 0.25%, so 1.25% total. again, you should be paying off your card on time. That goes without saying. There's one cool benefit with this card that goes beyond just the 1.25% back, and that is that you're getting a $5 per month statement credit towards streaming services if you, again, pay on time. So that could go towards Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you pay for on a monthly basis that's a streaming service, you can get basically $5 off if you put it on this card. So that's a pretty nice perk. You're not going to see it with any of the other cards on the list. So that does kind of make this card stand alone a little bit. One other downside of this card, though, is there is a $40 late payment fee, which is not great. Again, this kind of goes with the higher than normal interest rate. So with this card, you do have to be careful, okay? As long as you're playing by the rules, paying it off on time and in full, you're going to be fine. But if you do tend to slip, this card is going to hit you the hardest of any of the cards in the bunch, which is why it's coming in at number 4. Now, this card, as well as all the cards on the list, are going to report to all 3 credit bureaus. Okay, this is very important. If you want to be building your credit, you have to make sure that all 3 of the credit bureaus are getting reports from this card about how you're using it, that you're paying on time, that it's growing your average age of accounts, all of that jazz, all that good stuff from how to build your credit score. Done a whole video about that, so we're not going to dive too deep into that. And another thing I want to say is it's with any of the cards here, you're going to want to have some kind of income, because when you're applying for a credit card and you don't have a credit score, okay, this is your very first credit card and you're coming in with no credit score and no income, you're not really giving the bank that much to work with, okay? So with this card and any of the cards on the list, you're going to want to show some income. And there's a couple ways that you can do that. So the most obvious is obviously your earned income. So if you have a part-time job, if you have a summer job, you have an internship that pays you, like any of that stuff counts for income that you should be putting on your credit card application, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2 is if you have any investment income. So probably not, like, unless you're like a trust fund baby, you probably don't have a ton of investment income. But if you're making, say, $100 a month from dividends, then put that on your application too. Put any income that you have made in the past 12 months on your application, whether it's earned income, whether it's investment income, or whether it is support income from parents. So this is something that a lot of people don't think about, but if you're getting support from your parents to pay for college, to pay for rent, to pay for anything, or if you are living with your parents for free, that counts as free rent. That counts as basically getting paid your parents the rate of the fair market value of that rent. So any of that stuff can be included in the income section on your application. And I would totally recommend get creative with this stuff. Think about what are all of the ways that I'm potentially getting value from other people, whether it's parents, whether it's from a job or whatever, and put all that in as your income. Because again, if you don't have a lot of history to show here, your income is really going to be speaking for you a lot on a lot of these cards. So you want to make sure you give the banks something to work with. And so you want to make sure that you're showing some kind of income on the applications. All right, coming in at number 3 is the Bank of America Cash Rewards for Students. Now, I like this card a lot, okay? But the one caveat that I want to give you from the get-go is that this card could be, the reason that it's number 3 is it could be a little bit hard to get approved for if you don't have any past credits, if this is your first credit card, okay? If you don't have any credit, if you have low income, and if you don't have any previous relationship with Bank of America, it could be hard for you to get approved for this card, which is why it's not at the number 1 or 2 spot, okay? But with that caveat being said, let's dive into the actual card and how it works. So first thing to note here is that there is no annual fee. We do not like paying fees, and there will be no fees on this card unless you're making late payments, which you should not be doing. So no annual fee. But this is the best part. Okay, guys, this is the best part. Sign-up bonus, okay? I love sign-up bonuses, and this is the student card with the best sign-up bonus, okay? So if you spend $1,000 on this card in the first 90 days, which is $333.33 a month, okay? No big deal. Not a huge amount, okay? If you're putting groceries on there, if you're putting whatever kind of expenses you're spending as a college student, you can potentially hit that without having to go too far out of your way, okay? If you do have to line it up with like buying a plane ticket or something, so be it, but it shouldn't be the worst to hit that. So say you spend $1,000 in 90 days, you get $200 in rewards. Okay, that's 20% cash back plus the cash back that you're earning on the other spending that you're doing. So a big bonus here, $200, not too bad for a college student when you spend $1,000. Now, in terms of the other rewards, you're getting 3% cash back, which is pretty nice compared to the other cards that we're looking at here on the category of your choice. So you get to choose whether you want it to be gas, online shopping. So we're talking Amazon, we're talking Walmart online, I think. Online shopping, dining, travel, drugstores, or home improvement. So you're probably going to choose dining or online shopping if you are anything like me as a college student, because that was really the only stuff I spent money on. But I mean, you're probably not going to go to Home Depot that much. So it's probably going to be online shopping or dining. And so getting 3% back on those is going to be pretty nice. And then you're also going to get 2% on dining and wholesale clubs. So if you don't pick the 3% for dining, you're going to get 2% by default, but you can bump it up to 3 if you wanted to. Now, like I said, only caveat here is you might have a hard time getting approved if you don't have any prior relationship with Bank of America or any prior credit, because since this is a bit of a nicer credit card, you got the sign-up bonus, you got the 3%, you got the 2%, you get the 1% on everything else. It's a little bit nicer, so they have to set the bar a little bit higher for this one. So you might have a hard time getting approved for this as your very first credit card. You don't necessarily have to be a college student. I was looking in the terms and conditions here, could not find any specific language relating to being a college student. So I think this one continues the trend of not having to actually be a college student to get this card, even though it is called a student card. Alrighty, coming in at spot number 2, honestly, if I was a student, this is probably the card that I would get because this is the card that you're going to want if you are playing the long-term credit card rewards game, okay? If you're just thinking about like, today, how do I get the most bang for my buck today? Then number 1 is going to be your pick. But if you're thinking long-term here, if you're playing the long game, this is going to be the card for you. And that is the Chase Freedom Student Card. Okay, this is a relatively new card. I think it's less than a year old at this point. Was not around when I was a student, but if it was, totally would have gotten it. And that's because getting your foot in the door with Chase is a must as someone who is just starting to build credit. So if you're trying to get into the credit card game for the first time, Chase has a ton of the best cards. I mean, like, I have close to 15 credit cards, and I would say at least 10 of them are from Chase. So I really, really like Chase's credit cards. Their points are very valuable, and it's very easy to accumulate a lot of points with them if you know what you're doing. So getting your foot in the door with Chase, very, very big, good thing. And this card will allow you to do just that. However, it can potentially be kind of hard to get approved for if you're coming in with no credit and no income. Okay, so like I mentioned a couple cards ago, you're going to want to show some kind of income on your application. I mean, with this card, you might have a hard time getting approved if you don't have a previous relationship with Chase and if you don't have any credit history. But if you have a previous relationship with Chase, say you have been banking with them for a couple of years, you have a checking account, a savings account, whatever, that's a big plus. But if you don't have that, I would still recommend trying for it, because worst thing that can happen is they say no and you move on and you go to number 1 and you get that one. But I think if you're thinking long term, this is the play. And so breaking this card down really quick, let's dive into it. First thing, you must be a student for this card. So unlike some of the other cards we've talked about so far, you do have to be a student. They're going to check. They have some systems. I was reading about it in their terms and conditions. There's a whole complicated process they go through to check if you're actually an enrolled student. So you do have to be an enrolled student, but there's no annual fee. Again, like I said, all these cards, no annual fee. Don't pay those, not necessary. And there is a sign-up bonus. So I'm big into sign-up bonuses, and they've got a sign-up bonus. It's $50 in basically ultimate reward points, which is more valuable than dollars once you kind of move down the line. Like I said, this is a long-term play. So if you start accumulating ultimate reward points now, it's going to be good down the line, is the moral of that story. After your first purchase, you're going to get $50 worth of ultimate reward points, which can be worth up to like $100 in free travel, basically. So you're kind of getting double the bang for your buck if you use those for travel. You're getting 1% ultimate reward points on everything, which is pretty standard. It's kind of just a flat rate card, but there is some perks that are around, at least for right now. So until the end of March 2021, I believe, you're going to get 5% ultimate reward points on Lyft rides. That's either 2021 or 2022. I can't remember for sure, but one of those two, you're getting 5% back on Lyft rides, which is pretty great. And you're also getting 3 months free Dash Pass, which is DoorDash's subscription service. I think it gets you like free delivery or something. I don't know. I think I'm eligible for it, but I just never signed up for it. But if you get food delivered to you, if you're a college student, then it's probably pretty valuable to you. So 3 months of that for free. Plus you're getting $20 per year bonus if you remain in good standing, which at first glance, I thought it was good grades. So I know some of these cards will give you a good grades bonus. They give you a certain amount of money every year if you got good grades. But with this card, it's literally just good standing. So as long as you're paying your card off on time and you're not in default, they're going to give you $20 for free on your card every single year. So not a bad deal. Over 5 years, I think it lasts for 5 years. So you get $100 for free, basically, if you just keep the card and don't do anything bad on it. So pretty solid there. And then you're also going to get a credit limit increase after 5 months of on-time payments, just automatically, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's just going to allow you to be building your credit limit and to be building your credit score, because your credit limit goes up, your utilization goes down, and your credit score goes up, which is the important thing. So with this card, again, it's really just getting that foot in the door with Chase. That is the big value add here. And then the perks of basically building ultimate reward points are pretty good as well. And again, like all the other cards, it's going to be reporting to all 3 of the bureaus and building your credit score. All right, so the number 1 pick goes to the Discover It Student Cashback card. This is the card any college student friend that I have, any college student that I'm talking to about credit cards, I'm like, you should get this card as your first card. I don't even have the card myself, but in all the experience that I've had of talking to other college students and recommending it to people, they always get approved for it. I've never had somebody try to get it as their first credit card and not get approved for it. So they always get approved for it. They get a decent limit, and it's got some great features as well. So let's dive into those right now. So with this one, you do have to be a student, okay? It is listed in their terms and conditions. They're going to do a check. They're going to make sure you're a student. So got to be a student for this one. If you're not a student, they've got other options. The Discover It card is kind of the equivalent for a non-student. So check that out. But you got to be a student. There's no annual fee. And there's 5%, okay guys, 5% cash back on rotating categories. So every 3 months, they change the categories for 5%. Currently, it is Amazon and Walmart, I believe, but it'll change to like grocery stores sometimes. Sometimes it'll be like drugstores or gas or groceries or whatever. So it's always a category that's pretty well utilized. So you're getting 5% back on that. You're getting 1% back on everything else. Now, there's also some great cash benefits that they're going to offer you. So first of which is a $20 good grades bonus if you got a GPA of 3.0 or higher, which hopefully you do. If you don't, then you don't get penalized for not having a 3. But if you got more than a 3, you're getting $20 every single year for that for up to 5 years. So that's up to $100. And you're getting a $50 bonus for every friend that you refer to the card. So this can be, if you are a freshman or if you're in like some kind of frat or sorority or whatever, and you can recruit all of your other like cult members into signing up for a credit card. That could be potentially a couple $100 for getting a few of your friends to sign up for this thing. So that could potentially be attractive to you if you've got other friends that you can brainwash into getting credit cards like I did. But if you don't, then no harm, no foul there. There's not going to be a late fee on your first payment, which is pretty nice. So your first late payment on this card, there will be no late fees whatsoever, which is totally unique. I haven't found another credit card that does that. Most credit cards, they like hop on the chance to charge you a late fee. So the fact that Discover is like, yo, we'll give you a break on this one, super nice. So that's a big thing. And then there's also, this is one of my favorite parts. There's like 18 different styles you can choose from for this card. If you want to like customize, you can get like any color you can imagine. There's one with like a dog on it. Like there's a lot of cool options for this credit card. So I'm all about colorful, fun stuff. And this credit card definitely makes that happen. Last benefit here is there's a 2 times cash back match for your first year. So all the cash back you earn in the first 12 months of having this card, they double it for you. So if you earn $200 in cash back, they double it to $400 for the first year, which is super nice. So there's no sign up bonus, but there is the cash back match, which kind of serves as a decent sign up bonus. Now, the only place this isn't the best card all around is for studying abroad. So like I said before, all of the cards except for number 4 are going to have a foreign transaction fee of 3%. And Discover is just not the most widely accepted card in general, so you're going to have to watch out for that if you do want to study abroad. All right, so here is that pro tip that I promised you that allowed me to get my credit score to over 800 as a college student. And that is getting added to a parent's credit card as an authorized user. Now, there are a couple caveats with this. And if you want the full story, check out the video up here where I talk about how to build your credit score and how to actually do this strategy, because you're going to want to know why this works and know how to do it. But the basic gist of this is if you have a parent or relative that has a good credit score and that has a credit card that they've had for a very long time that has always been paid on time, what they can do is, in most cases for free, add you as an authorized user to that card. They basically get a second copy of that card with your name on it that they are responsible for. And just by doing that, that credit card is going to show up on your personal credit report and dramatically increase your credit score, okay? The card that I got added to has like 16 years of on-time payment history on it. It's crazy. So it like dramatically increased my average age of accounts, my payment history, like all that good stuff just like shot through the roof. And that was what allowed me to crack that 800 mark. So that is the strategy there. And again, you have to make sure that you have a parent that has good credit and that has a credit card that they've had for a long time, they've been paying off. Because if they add you to a bad card and if they have bad credit, that's going to be 2 thumbs down for you. So make sure not to do that, because that's going to be totally counterproductive and not help you build your credit at all. Now, the next thing you should do is first subscribe down here and then check out this video over here where we do dive into how to build your credit score, how I got my credit score to over 800 so that you can do the same as a college student, because it's totally possible. There's just a couple easy steps for you to follow. So check that out and I will see you in the next one.